Welcome to step 5 of the setup, the very final step. I'm here in Cursor. And just before we get going in Cursor, we have to install some things called Cursor extensions. It might prompt you, it might say, do you want to install the recommended extensions? In which case just say yes, because it will get them right. But if not, then we just need to install them if you've never done this before. And very simple to do. You start by going to the View menu and you select Extensions. And this comes up over on the left where the files were. And you now need to search for Python to bring up the Python extensions, which does things like coloring in code nicely and checking it and the like. Now, there are in fact 2 different Python extensions. One of them is made by someone called Anysphere. Well, Anysphere is actually the name of the makers of Cursor. So this is the one for Cursor. There's another one made by MS-Python, which happens to be the going name for Microsoft, better known as Microsoft. And either of these will do just great. I have the Microsoft one installed. You can have the Anysphere one. You click on it, make sure that you install it, and then you'll have Python installed. And then back to the search and search for Jupyter. And then you'll see that there is Jupyter by this company, MS-Tools AI, better known again as Microsoft, and this has like 4 million downloads, and it's great. And Jupyter, which is the name of the particular type of data science interactive work that we'll be doing. Jupyter you want to install as well. Mine's already installed, which is why it says uninstall there. And so make sure that both of those are installed. And once you've done that, finally you go back to the View menu and you go to Explorer again to bring back the files on the left. You open the week 1 folder, the week 1 directory, and click on day1.ipynb, which stands for IPython Notebook, which is one of these kinds of things. And congratulations, you've opened the day 1 notebook. We're so nearly there. The very, very final step is to go to this thing here that says select kernel. The kernel is the name of the Python process, which is going to be running behind all of this that we're about to work through. So you have to press this button, select kernel, and it will pop up with this little pop-up saying Python environments or existing Jupyter server. It all sounds very high tech. You choose Python environments and you should get this list. What you may only have one option on your list, but you should have something where the top option should have a star next to it. It should be called .venv, and it should say Python 3.12 point something. It might be 3.12.10, 0.11, and it should have this kind of path, .venv/bin/python. This thing, and it should say recommended, and this is the one to pick, and it should look beautiful. It's referring to that folder right there. You see on the left? That's what this is pointing to. Now, if this doesn't pop up as an option, then go to the troubleshooting notebook that is in the setup folder, and that is where it will help you out. But it should do, hopefully, you should be able to select it. It's now selected, and we have ourselves a Jupyter notebook that's ready to go. These things are called Jupyter notebooks. This type of format of thing, this .ipynb. And that is now set. If you need help, then you go to the setup folder. There is a troubleshooting .ipynb, and that is where you'll get more instructions for troubleshooting. But hopefully you now have this open, you're looking at this, you have your environment set, your kernel is set. It's finally time to go through our first lab. So these things are sometimes called labs, they're sometimes called notebooks. They're like Python files which have mixtures of text, formatted text and code, and you can run the code piece by piece. Each of the pieces are called cells. You may be, if you're already in data science, you know this stuff super well, but you know, I'm going to explain it to the others. Now, I treat these like living, breathing documents with tons of good, interesting material. And I do ask that you spend a moment to read through them, particularly this first one, because I give a real lay of the land here. I explain that we're about to embark on our first LLM project. And look, it's a simple one, but you got to start somewhere. And for the pros, you can really rattle through this really fast. But, you know, we have to do something simple. Later in the course, we're going to be building a complete agentic platform with multiple agents collaborating and doing all sorts of stuff with many different LLMs involved. But we're starting small. That's the way to do it. What we're going to build is something which is a different kind of web browser. It's something which is able to take a web address, a URL, and scrape it and then make a summary of that web page and display that summary in a nice format. It's our own little Reader's Digest of the internet. That's what we're building. And sure, you could, ChatGPT now, the product, has some things like this built into it that you could ask it. But we're basically building our own. We're building a product like that ourselves, and we're going to do it using an API call to the underlying GPT model. Okay, so I do want to point out, if you're new to using these things called notebooks, they're also called labs, also known as Jupyter Lab, as you now know, that I've got lots of guides here that will help you through this. I think you already know, there's guides to the command line, guides to using Git and GitHub. There's some technical foundations to explain things like endpoints and APIs and environment variables. And then there is this guide all about using notebooks, which you should look at to learn more about how to use notebooks. And there's also some Python foundations if you're new to Python as well. Also, we'll talk a lot about what to do if you want to use models other than OpenAI, such as using Gemini, which has some free tiers, or using Ollama with local models. There is a guide that goes through all that as well that you could have a preview look at, but we'll be doing it together. A reminder that I am here to help you. You know that you can reach out to me by email through the platform, and you can always connect with me on LinkedIn. I might have mentioned that's something I kind of like, so feel free to do it. There's the troubleshooting notebook that's right here as well. It is in the setup folder, troubleshooting right there. So go to troubleshooting if you have any problems. And as I say, if this is stuff you already know about, then just speed me up, put me on 2x, go through this nice and quickly. And I'll hope to throw in some interesting stuff as well, but we will get to more juicy stuff very soon. Now, the way that I run these labs is a bit different to some other courses you might be familiar with. And I make the point here, and I do ask you to read through this. I don't like to sit here typing while you watch. I will do that a little bit because I know people want to see that. I'll do a bit of it, but I feel like that's not a good use of either of our time, particularly in a day with AI tools as well. I prefer to show you some code to explain how it works and why it works, to run it, and for you to also run it, put in print statements, change it, make it your own, investigate it, experiment with it. That's the best way to learn, not by sitting there typing things through. Now, some people like to type in that's all good. Of course, you can just delete the cell and then retype it, or create an empty new notebook and start from scratch. As you wish. Everyone learns differently. But I suggest dig into the code, explore it, experiment with it, and use this as your starting point for your own projects. So make your variations. And then it's great practice. It also gives you an opportunity to make a variation and post it on LinkedIn and tag me. And that's something that I will happily weigh in and make sure that I amplify your achievement. Look at the fact that these labs will be changing all the time. I constantly update them, sometimes multiple times a week, to have the latest models, to have better explanations as people ask questions. So please assume that the text here is a living, breathing document. And if what you see on the screen doesn't match exactly what I'm saying, don't worry about it. What you're seeing is better. And I'll try. I won't subtract anything. I'll only add more good stuff. So welcome the fact that there could be new content that you're looking here. And finally, I do want to try and emphasize the business value of everything that we build. Whilst I'll try and make it fun and entertaining, I will also come back to talk about the commercial impact of what we do, and there'll be commercial exercises for you at the end. All right, and then it tells you about installing the cursor extensions, which we've done, select the kernel, which we've done, and it's time now for us to get going with some code.